Um, uh, Everyone calls me Mr. E or Erik. Please don't call me Pak Erik. Um, I feel very old as a kakektua. Initially, at first, we had wanted to present a kind of overview of submission process. And we realized that when we're listening to Pak talk about the cover letter in response to reviewers' comments, there's an example up here from a surgeon that many of you might know, Dr. Gennady. The format is very similar to a submission for your first article, but you often use a cover letter for responses to reviewers. It's a formality that we use like business correspondence. It's a pretty simple formula. It's nice to know that it works out. So an outline for a cover letter is very similar to an outline that you would use for the table of contents in your thesis. Possibly you created letters like this, but it's a very formal, standardized, section by section. In the body of Gennady's cover letter, he's included a brief summary of his responses to the reviewer comments. And they're divided into the standard division of an abstract or an article. So he may discuss it in terms of the Pembukahan. The introductory section is often called also a background section. Apa kedua? Yep. So tujuan atau objective. Sometimes it's included as the kalimat kunci of the Pembukahan. So even in a reviewer response, you might be asked to change something like the title, something in the introduction. Apa ketiga? Your methodology section. It usually talks about the type of study, whether you were using quantitative, qualitative, different designs. Standard sections are simply divided. And then, yep, atau. Yep. So this is our goal. Our aim today is to introduce to you this morning a kind of broad concept map. And then this afternoon, each of these sections will be discussed, especially this morning, we may be able to expand into that key concept of an abstract. Usually an abstract is all of these, if it's structured, divided up into separate sections. But sometimes the abstract is unstructured. It can just be satu paragraph. And so each one of these should be summarized in one atau dua kalimat, one or two sentences. Let's say here, Gennady has divided up the response into methods, results, and discussion. And notice in his closure, much like our professor friend talked about, the closure is very formal. It's saying, terima kasih banyak, thanking the writers for the opportunity to make revision or submission. So whether it's your first submission or the second, maybe even third resubmitting of a manuscript, it's an effort that in Javanese we call gotong royong. It's a kerja bersama-sama, where we work together. But oftentimes what we realize is there's some challenges. So in academic or scientific writing, we want to think comprehensively that within this format or within the abstract, there's an integrated concept there. And most of the time, it's probably going to have the very first challenge. What do I call my article? What type of title should I say? Do I mention that it's a qualitative study or that it's spatial mapping? What's unique about it? So many writers see this as the first challenge. Apa kata challenge? Tantangan. Tantang. And many times it's an issue of vocabulary. So we talked about this in our staff meeting with Ibu Asrama Bugori here, and we realized that possibly a supplement should be provided that might help you with vocabulary. These vocabulary lists, they're not comprehensive, but these are the most commonly used graduate level vocabularies for science writing. They come directly from the Cambridge graduate record exam preparation. Of course, one of the ways that we increase our vocabulary is by learning synonyms. The meaning of the word is described as alternate words. So this could be called a dictionary approach, or maybe a glossary approach. If we're more linguistic, call it thesaurus of synonyms. What we're trying to do is increase your confidence in the English language by building your recognition of words that may be familiar, but sometimes they could be awkward. An example might be this one here. If we look at the example here, huruf A, it means entrance. Because originally, adeo meant to go in. a place to enter. And of course, we might know this word because atas every pintu is the antonym, exit. So as we learn vocabulary in English, we realize, okay, I thought this was dia, a pronoun, right? Added together. But this is a kata kerja, like this one, and this is a verb meaning to go out, to exit. And the kata kerja and the kata keterangan are the same. They exit, or aku exit, I go out. But originally, entrance was added. The added and the exit. Keluar, masuk. So as we learn scientific words, many times we need to look at it in terms of synonyms to build our confidence to recognize English vocabulary. And it's not easy. It's the first challenge. But we need it even to make the title, to have a scientific title. And it can be something that we help you with through ORP, through Book Glory, and our Tim Success. We bersama-sama, we work together on this instead of being sunyi senyap sendiri. And it is challenging. There is admittedly time to mandiri. Like Pak Yodi said, you have to tutu pintu sometimes. And just focus on, okay, today, let's do some work on the abstract. Tomorrow, tujuan pembukaan. Let's work on an introduction background. Later, we can help you with statistical methods. Many people, sakit kepala. It's like, statistics, ayo, takut. But we can help. Bisa bantunya. And this one, many of you already have done some research and you have some results, but it's difficult to put together. So probably today, a little bit this morning, and then later, if there's more time this afternoon, we can talk about apa? Seperti ini, it's a concept map, a way to outline, like a table of contents. And this can be for apa? For sentence structure, atau paragraph structure. The paragraph is very similar to the cover letter. Introduction, pembukaan, the body, and then it's a conclusion. But related to this is probably outlining. It is apa? Siapkan baik-baik. The best plan has outline. Atau maybe here we call it concept map. So today we can talk about a concept map that will briefly talk about what do you say in the introduction? What do you say for your objectives? What do you say to describe Gena study, the type of research that you did? And finally, we can put it all together. Again, these may be the simple challenges, but here, many people, even native speakers, we have trouble summarizing. We don't easily paraphrase. And research usually doesn't use quotations now. So the first, probably what paling sulit, the most difficult is to be able to summarize. And we use it here. And then here. It is like a jembatan. There is a bridge from your citation in your references that starts over again here. So these are the tantangan, tatangan. It's not neighbor, not ladder, right? It's tatanga. Right, my neighbor has my ladder, and that's a challenge, right? To tantangan. Tantangan. Tongue-tied is what it is. But I think you know what I mean. That one of the reasons why you are here is because everyone experiences these challenges. We have a program to provide support. Some of it is incentives, reimbursement, workshops, even consultations. And we can just do some, latihan, some simple exercises. I want to respect your time, so I realize we probably won't have time to do everything. Okay. That would be good. Maybe if you could look in your packet to see it. Do you have this? What I'd like you to do is read it with me, if I could get a copy. Instead, maybe we can just take a minute, each of us look it over, and then I can read it with you. As established by the National Panel on Reading, the components of reading include vocabulary, phonics, fluency, phonemic awareness, comprehension, and oral language development. Advanced students studying fluency in English learn to recognize and decode printed words, developing the skills that are the foundation for independent reading. They discover the alphabetic principle, sound symbol match, and learn to use it in figuring out new words. In the process, they build a stock of sight words that helps them to read quickly and accurately with comprehension. The language reading relationship is one that deals with knowing the language of reading. This comprehension involves learning to read accurately and effectively through recognition of symbol or syllable and sound correspondence, as well as the development of a lexicon of sight words. When students are aware of the language and reading relationship, their reading becomes more beneficial and allows reading text to become like a conversation for a reader. This multi-skill approach is important for the reader student because once they are aware of this relationship, completely changes the process of reading. It changes the language and the ideas that the reader takes away from the text. It allows the reader to gain better knowledge about what the author is trying to say. So what I would ask you to do is maybe summarize this And you have 5 minutes. 5 minutes to write 3 to 5 sentences. Yes, summarize in 3 to 5 minutes. So when Janos is ready, he's going to talk briefly about Sudah, belum. Every abstract has the same information for the most part. And some are structured with headings, specifically pembukaan, method, hasil. Some have specific statement of tujuan, or kalimat kunci, key statements. So Janos would talk about how these abstracts are structured, how to write a good abstract. It's a challenge. And we've provided you a worksheet so that you can follow his explanation and also, if need be, to take notes. Now, people ask, kenapa penting? Why is it important? Number one, it helps you to organize the penelitian. So if you're writing proposal for penelitian, or you want to present at a conference, this is the key to write a good, strong abstract. Later, you can develop it into a full manuscript or an article for an international journal. But Janos might say, first, have your research, organize your information, outline them, and put them into the abstract so that you can submit for a proposal or submit for a conference. Some people say write the abstract first. Other people might say write the abstract last. It really depends on the person. If you are good at concept maps, if you like to summarize, then usually the structure of these sentences come natural. But if we looked at this first abstract, there's something missing. What is missing from this abstract? Good. There's no tujuan, right? So this is not a packet, it's complete. The example's good, but it's used as an example to see what is missing. And that's what an outline does. When we look at a concept map, when we realize that if we know what the ingredients are in the recipe, we can't leave out the salt or the sugar. Otherwise, the recipe won't be complete.